Oh my goodness. Hello. Welcome to this week's energy forecast. I'm not going to go into detail about what it took to get me here today, but all I kept thinking was this has got to be something for the energy forecast. Like the amount of roadblocks I've hit, the pinching my finger and bleeding, to the camera not working, to no power. I'm like, all right, so this is just part of my teaching right now, part of my practice right now. And last night I heard this quote from Ram Dass. He received this guidance from an angel saying, you're in the school, why not try taking the curriculum? The school of life he was talking about. And I think that's a perfect thing for us to remember when we're going through life stuff, that this is part of the curriculum. That, think about whether you were in elementary school or you were in college, it doesn't matter when. I'm sure there was a point in your life where you disliked the curriculum. You were like, oh, why do I have to do this? I feel like this is really unimportant. I don't want to spend my time on this. And how many times in life are we saying that same thing? What's the point of this? What am I here to learn? Why do I have to be dealing with this right now? So the guidance for this week is to take life as if it's a curriculum, as if it must unfold this way, as if you have to take every step you're taking to get to the next level, to get that degree, to get that certification, whatever it is your path is really about. And I'm so conscious of how much we will be tested this week, because in so many ways, just like right now, I'm being tested. I'm being asked to focus. And so that's what I'm going to coin this week as focus. And focus is the ability to hone in on something with distractions all around, but yet you're able to really point at one specific area. So because of what I'm sensing already this week, just a bit chaotic, I can sense a lot of emotional shifts. People are growing some bodily sensations, a lot of purging of old energy. So with that, it's like, okay, I need to be focused. I need to be clear on what is that North Star? What is that goal for me? What is really important for me to be focused on right now? And like I said, focus. Like I'm looking at all the fridge that's in the frame. I'm looking at my shadow over here. My sister's dog is here. And she's very old. She can't hear well or see well. And I fed her already, and she's been barking at me while I'm trying to set this up for me to feed her again. And I'm just like, okay, focus. Energy forecast, focus. Pinch my finger, lost the light, So, what helps you focus? What helps you kind of forget about the world and hone in on what it is, on the task at hand? So with the curriculum of life, we don't necessarily know the importance of the lessons we're learning, but we trust on some level that, well, heck, I can't fight this. I can't be anywhere but here right now because this is where I stand. Perhaps there's some things you could change, some different ways of thinking, acting, behaving in the world you could adjust. But oftentimes if, perhaps you have COVID right now, or perhaps someone you love is hurting, perhaps your heart is broken. It's like, well, this is what's on offer for me. This is my curriculum right now, so I can push against it. I can fight it. I can try to run away from it, but we know how that works. It just kind of shows up again, even stronger. Or I can practice my acceptance and trusting that this is part of the curriculum this week. And it's funny, I don't drink anymore. And I want to drink. So it's like that kind of like, this desire to escape the intensity this week. It's like when that school project's almost done and you just want to say, can you just finish it off? Like, I just don't want to do this anymore. But we have to be participants in the curriculum of our life. We have to partake in the school projects. Again, the focus, I'm distracted because she's looking around because she thinks I'm talking to somebody. We have to be diligent about knowing that there are storms in life. And this particular week, perhaps you're already on the other side of this and you're like, my storm was last week. Good. I'm so glad for you. I think others are going to feel this intensity ramp up in all areas of your life. I urge you not to jump ship to try to escape where you are, but instead trust that this is part of the curriculum, that you really are supposed to have had that setback, have had that breakup, have had that weird body thing going on. All of it really is for something. So on that note, I'm going to tune into the root chakra. So that's at the very base of our tailbone. And the reason I'm doing that is because the root is about safety and security. And when things feel a little bit out of whack, it's really helpful if our root is balanced. So you can bring your attention to the root. This is our guest star today, Miss So. So bringing your attention to the root, the base of your tailbone, you can even imagine down to your toes. And the message I'm getting here is that we want to keep our circle small. So that can mean a lot of things. That could mean in regards to like other people in your life. They could be with tasks you have to do this week. But whatever you're doing, keep your circle small. So don't put too much on your plate. Be aware that if you overextend yourself, you're going to feel that imbalance. And what that imbalance will feel like is insecurity. It will feel like what you're doing isn't enough. And you're going to feel like life is happening to you. You know, that kind of victim stance. And I'm not shaming that victim stance. We all go through that, but it's disempowering. So keeping your circle small, keeping your tasks to an appropriate level that you know you can manage, and trusting, say you're working on something, perhaps you're changing your body, you're changing a relationship, maybe you're working on paying off debt, credit card debt, something like that. Yes, there is this greater goal that you want to get to. And it's also really important to have total transparency, to see the whole thing. Again, say it's debt, and you look at it completely. You look at all the different debts you have, how much you owe, how you're chipping away at it, kind of creating a plan for success, but not being mad at yourself for not already having paid that all off, or for not having already been through all the therapy sessions with your partner. You know what I'm saying? We get ahead of ourselves because we are naturally solution-oriented humans. We like things to be solved. We like to make progress forward. That is what evolution is about. And there's times for that growth, for that pushing forward. And there's other times where we got to keep our circle real small, slow it down, and be really, the word diligent came up before, diligent about what is important right now. Yes, there's a bigger picture. Maybe that will bring you some ease this week. Again, I'm speaking from the root chakra, so feeling safety and security. Of course, talking about financial security. So yes, don't be afraid to look at the big picture. of what needs to be done, but don't get ahead of yourself and beat yourself up for still having a ways to go. You're always going to have a ways to go. Your to-do list will always have more to-dos. If you're a list person, a checker, crosser, offer, you get a couple things off and 3 things have been added. You cross 3 things off, 6 things have been added. There's just always more that's going to happen. And this week I'm sensing we're not supposed to push ourselves. And again, there's times to push. There's times where it's like, all right, let's be tough, let's be strong, let's kind of force through it, let's be really disciplined. And there's other weeks where it's like keeping the circle tight. I don't want to take on too much. It's like battery life, right, on your phone. It's like you're not gonna use your GPS and YouTube and have a phone call going on, which I know all of that can't really be going on at once, but if you have 20% battery, right, there's only a certain amount that you can use. So prioritize yourself as if you have a battery. And maybe that's a really good place to start. Check in with yourself now. Where's your battery at? Right, on a scale from 10% to dying, or to 100%, 0 to 100%, where are you right now? And that could change throughout the week, but continuing to check in. And if you have a partner, communicating with your partner, I'm at 20% battery. Like, what are you talking about? Well, Laura, no. I'm at 20. Like, I really don't have a large capacity for dealing with drama this week. I do want to talk about this. I see this is important to you, but I just can't right now. And what we're doing here, again, speaking from the root chakra, the sense of security and safety, what we're saying is I have a certain level that I know I can go to this week, and I'm keeping a boundary for myself, but also it's helping you because I'm not going to get short with you. I'm not going to, cause excessive drama because I know my capacity is limited this week, so I'm going to take it down a notch. Okay. I'm going to go up to the heart space because I can just feel like this contraction, which is not a bad thing. Contraction also means opening, right? With everything that contracts, it must open, that kind of equal opposite. So the heart space, you may feel a little bit closed off this week, which could be you may not feel open to doing new things. You may not feel open to your partner. You may not feel open to intimacy, like friendships or even just like being intimate. You may not feel really called to do that. No judgment, we go through phases, and if you're beating up on yourself, that's kind of, you're mad at yourself about what the curriculum is this week. And it's like, well, maybe this is for you. Maybe this is going to push you to have a conversation you wouldn't have had prior to this discomfort. So that heart contraction, we certainly don't want to force it open, which we can't, I'm sure you probably have some sort of experience with trying to open up and you're just not there. So thinking about yourself in a vulnerable time, what did you need to do to tend to your heart? Do you need to talk to somebody? Do you need some healing? Do you need meditation and yoga? Do you need a lot of time outside? Do you just need that kind of like holding of your own heart? What is it that you need for yourself? Not in an effort to open, but rather to just support the space that you're in this week. And as I'm saying that, the emotional center is kind of clicking on. The emotional center is just beneath the heart space. It's called the solar plexus. Okay, so I'm getting pretty strong, like anything rooted in evil in regards to the emotional department is got to go. So it makes so much sense that this week's a little bit chaotic and just like, oh my God, this is hard. This feels really hard. Releasing toxic energy we don't really have to like squeeze it out like toothpaste. It's not that, it's just the focus, right? I am not willing to focus my energy on this toxicity anymore. And that's what release is about. It's no longer giving your attention to that which no longer serves you. So this week is like, actually, my niece says that, actually, really an awesome week, even though it's a little uncomfortable. It's that part of the curriculum where you're like, God damn it, I can't wait till next week. Oh, this is almost over. Yeah, you know, we have moments in our life that we just want to be over. I have a little shoulder injury. I just want it to be over. I want to fight. I want to move. I want to yoga. I want to do the things I got to do. Not got to do, but want to do. But this week, so with the toxicity thing, the emotional thing, this kind of like, I am no longer willing to spend my energy there. Energy is money. It's your time. That's yours. You get to decide what you focus on and what you decide to step away from. But let me remind you, it takes practice. Because we practice these different habits, that we show each other we care sometimes by engaging with other people's drama and feeling bad for them. That doesn't serve you, that doesn't serve them. Your work is you, their work is them. Even if it's in relationships, in parent to child or stepchild, mother to daughter, father to son, whatever the dynamics may be, I mean this in the most loving way possible. I don't care how close you are to that person. It doesn't serve them if you look down on them. If you think that they are helpless, that they're not capable, you're feeding that wolf. You're feeding that monster. And if you love someone, you don't want to feed that negativity. You don't want to feed that toxic energy. So it's, like I said, it's going to take practice, but it's absolutely possible this week. And that's why it's so wonderful we have a little less bandwidth, because when we have less to give, we stop giving to the toxic energy, to the positive energy. We stop giving in general, and that's actually not a bad thing. It's really healthy for us to be aware of ourselves and managing our own energy and give up trying to manage anybody else's, because that's not your bag, that's not your business. So as this heavier kind of like, I'm so sick and tired of this, I'm so good, acknowledge it, let it rise up. I'm not saying don't think about it, because the second I say don't think about it, you start thinking about it. So it's not about not thinking about it, it's deciding, what do I want to do with this? How do I want to be with this emotion? Do I want to talk to my sister about it and cause more drama about it? Do I want to write it in my journal and release it out of my head? Do I just need to give this energy some space and acknowledge the change I'm going to make going forward and practice that for the rest of the week? You get to decide what you do with this energy that's up and hard to deal with. And there's no wrong, there's no wrong thing you're going to do. If you just continue to engage in the same old stuff, well, that's all right. That's part of your curriculum. You're going to circle back again and again, right? These cycles, they show up. We circle back again. We get another opportunity to address it. It's not wrong. Sometimes it's like a real crap relationship. And, from the outside, people are like, what are you doing? You're like, well, he, she. And it's like, other people have all these inputs, but really it's because your soul's learning something. So is that so bad? Is that so bad that you dragged out a relationship an extra 3 months even though you knew it was dead? No, because the next time you're in a relationship and maybe it gets to that ending point, you're going to cut it off a lot sooner because you've learned. And we got to remember that we are here to learn, not to get it right, not to get things done off the list, although that feels really good and that's absolutely something you can be doing, but is that your highest purpose? I believe our highest purpose is to be in this experience, to feel it fully, you know? Like some part of me when I was setting this up, I'm like, fuck this. I'm just not gonna do it today. Everyone can wait. I don't care. And it's like, you know what? That's okay. Yeah, and if I decided that route, I would have had to deal with this tomorrow. So be it, you know, there isn't a wrong choice. So you may also notice when you feel like you're wrong about something that it is simply a limitation you've put on yourself, and it's not wrong, you're learning. So be a little bit nicer to you in the process. But with that, you know, being nicer and more compassionate, keep it real. You are your everything, your very best friend, your closest companion. And building that relationship between you and you, between your mind and your body, your mind and your heart, your mind and your soul, whatever you want to call it, these different layers of you, to make that relationship between you and you your highest priority, to have self-respect, to choose yourself, to have good boundaries, to say no because you're just not feeling it, to take a rest. You know, I kind of had other ideas for this and I just gave it up. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put it down because I love you too much to stress you out. Let's set this bitch up and let's just video. Let's just record. Because I love you so much. I want to make the best of every situation. That's what we have to start doing for ourselves if we want to feel that peace, if we want to make these shifts. Make the best of where you're at. Make the best of this goddamn curriculum you're in the midst of. You know, some classes you look back and you're like, I thought it was gonna kill me. And it didn't, but it almost did, and I fucking hate that teacher. You know? And then other classes, it's like, oh, to go back there and learn that again. And so is life. But you're not in the wrong place. And you're not doing it wrong, and you're not fucking it all up. All of it is sacred, really. It all matters. It's all so important and not important at all. Isn't that the strange balance of life? I'm just gonna go deeper into that, but I'm gonna put that aside for now. Okay. And I'm going to connect to the headspace, the crown, and the third eye and the throat chakra. And the crown chakra, so the very top of your head, our connection to the divine, to infinite intelligence. The message that I'm getting is be more intentional. And it's interesting that comes up. I went for a walk a little bit before this, knowing that I, had to write an email up and create this content. And I was like, you know what? I want to do what's best for me, and that is walking. So I went on a walk and I said, angels, guides, gods, whoever, I would love to hear from you. Whatever kind of messages you got from me, I'm receptive. And then I hear these two crows flying overhead, giant crows, and I'm like, okay, I'll look up crow. And then a huge vulture flying overhead. I'm like, okay, vulture. And I'm going on and on and on. And I heard, turn to the sun. And I'm like, turn to the sun, turn to the sun. I'm like, oh, there's no sun. And then I was trying to decide what direction to go because I kind of go in this loop. And I'm like, well, the sun will be that way. So, okay, if I go this way, I'll have more sun time, and that will be me turning to the sun. So I turn to the sun, and I'm walking up this hill, and it is so windy. Like, I had a hat on, and my hat was blowing up, and I just stopped for a moment, and I looked up to the sky. I kid you not. in the clouds written hi, H-I. And I was like, so cool. And I was like trying to get my phone out as fast as I could, but I wanted to watch it at the same time. Yeah, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. Like, oh, this is a beautiful phone, or just my eyes. Like, ooh, what do I do here? And I ended up saying, fuck it, this is for me. And hi, angels or gods, whoever the heck's talking to me. And then I was walking and I kept smelling cinnamon, and I'm like, I mean, I could go for a chai latte. Like, I do have that at home. Maybe I'm like, cinnamon. Maybe someone's cooking something, but I just kept smelling it. I go past this boat, like, fixer-upper place, cinnamon. I'm like, so I look up cinnamon, and it's like, can be a sign of a deity or monarch. So I was like, wow, if you ask, you really do start getting information right away. Why? Because our minds, when you point to something with your mind, when you have a focus, it starts picking up what is in connection to that. So something I was doing earlier today was tidying my space. Ooh, that's really important too, you guys, to clear out, like spring cleaning time, do the closets, do the bookshelves, do plants, clean those bad boys up, go through mail, go through piles, get your taxes in order. It's like, keeping the circle small, bring it all in, focus in on your little nest, on your little life, not little, pretty big, but the things that are yours, physical especially, because energetically you're going through an upgrade, and that means a lot of things in your life may not feel like a match to you anymore. A certain color purple that you used to love, and you'd be like, every time I look at that reminds me, or I just don't like, or gray, like I got rid of a bunch of gray stuff, and I'm like, I wonder why, and get rid of, like, donate. So move things along in your space. I forget where I was going with that. Oh, but so say you want to clean up your space, you put that focus, and everything that needs to be cleaned up will start popping out to you. That's how the brain's wired. It's a really, really cool thing. So if you can be a little bit more intentional, even setting the intention to notice more beautiful things, to be more appreciative in the day, your brain will literally guide you and show you things to be appreciative of. That is how powerful you are. It's not something outside of you, it's in you. It's up to you to start to turn your focus in the direction of that which you desire, while simultaneously feeling all the different things, all that energy that's shifting in you, and giving space for that too. Do not fear kind of instant manifestations. If I'm focused on this toxic energy, or, my mother-in-law, like, yikes, I don't want to. And it's like, no, it doesn't work that way. In terms of energy attracting like energy, it's what you feel is what really matters. So if you're feeling a lot of toxic energy, giving it the space isn't asking for more of it. Talking about it is. Thinking about it, making up stories. When I'm gonna tell her something, that is what perpetuates that energy. So versus, ooh, I notice this is a toxic energy coming up. This relationship really drags me down. I think I need some space from it. That's much different than, oh, that bitch, I'm gonna get her. So notice the difference between yourself, the different selves, that show up. And the voice. So voice is saying, speak your truth. Don't be afraid to say it like it is, because if you hurt someone's feelings, that's not your business how they perceive you, how they receive you. So, maybe there's another conversation to be had there. Like, oh, that really hurt me. And okay, well, this is what I'm feeling, and I just needed to say it because I need to be honest. That will be really helpful this week. But don't push anything, just be your natural self, whatever state you're in. The third eye saying that your intuition is going to become heightened with the clearing of the space, with the setting of the boundaries in, with greater self-respect. Your intuition is going to get higher. It's going to be easier to navigate. I'm like, because it's exciting. It's freeing and it's empowering, and it's instead of like, do I know? It's like this knowing place. And I think we all are very intuitive. We just have to navigate our way to using the intuition a little bit more. Okay. Yeah, and if your head is hurting this week, maybe even right now as you're listening to this, we need to up the water, limit screen time, and get a lot of rest and be in nature. She is the most profound healer I have ever interacted with, and she's free. So get out there, take good care of yourself. I thank you so very much for showing up. Always a pleasure. I just so appreciate all of you tuning in. Means the world to me. I am going to start doing lives here. So if you're not subscribed but you listen, subscribe so you can get some notifications about me going live. You can ask questions, you can give me insights, we can do a little bit more back and forth. And yeah, that is all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you, I appreciate you, and I will talk to you soon.